Hey everyone, and hope everybody's doing well. As always, thank you so much for watching and welcome to my channel. And subscribe if you haven't already, and give me a thumbs up on the video if you love it or like it, or thumbs down if you don't. But as always, I encourage questions or ideas or experiences or any information, anything that just adds to the dialogue, and the information. So much appreciated. I wanted to speak on the Trump assassination, and because there's all sorts of theories out there and ideas and speculation, and understandably so. But everything from just it seemingly being what it was versus divine intervention from the spiritual realms, or even I've seen other New Age channels talking about the body was possessed, or it wasn't like an actual person, or the person's mind was being controlled by aliens. The full spectrum of speculation is out there. Some people say it didn't even happen, or it was set up, or that it was Donald Trump had set it up, and to get more votes, I guess. So basically, whatever you could think of, it's out there. So I was thinking, oh, you know what? I can probably get some of this information. I should try to have, because I was wondering about it too, and I was thinking, oh, I can try a channeling session and try to see what happens. So I did. And just to start with, just to kind of paint the context, from what I understand, it is what it was. There's no divine intervention, and God didn't have a hand in it. There was no negative demonic intervention. There was no interdimensional or physical, like off-world or alien intervention. It was literally humans doing human things, in other words. So that's an important context. I just kind of wanted to frame that with in the beginning. And the questions, and real quick as well, from what I understand, what I've learned over the years is everything's recorded, inscribed, so we can review it when we die. But that doesn't necessarily mean 100% of the information is available to someone who has psychic or spiritual abilities that can access these things. Some people call them the Akashic records. That's like a term for everything that's ever been recorded ever. There are rules, so not everything can be known. Like, I can't just ask, what did my neighbor eat last night for dinner? Or was my friend texting something about me? There's privacy rules in place. Now, when my neighbor, when they die and cross over, or my friend does, they can share this information and say, oh yeah, okay, well, I was texting something about, Jerry, or my neighbor's like, oh yeah, this is what I ate on this day. Or they may not share that. It's not required to divulge all your life's information. It's up to the individual. So sometimes not all the information is known or made available quite yet. Sometimes it never is. In this case, there was a lot of affirmative information, but some unknowns. Now, to start with, so the shooter acted on his own, meaning there was nobody at a local level that he worked with. So what it appears to be was a simple lapse in security. He didn't have any involvement with anybody that made sure that happened. In other words, at a local or international level. But there was an international component, which I found really interesting. And there was foreign involvement as far as who he was talking to. But no one set up the security situation there. So if there was, I was told there might have been, but that is unknown. So in other words, if there was somebody, like if there was a foreign agent communicating with the shooter, and then a foreign agent communicating with, say, someone on a local police force or with the Secret Service, they were doing that separately. And the shooter did not, the shooter, by the way, divulged all information, 100%, about his involvement in this for whatever reason, a sense of penance or repentance or guilt. A lot of people do when they do things like this in order to, why wouldn't you? If you're hiding anything, then that just makes you that much more suspicious, because that carries over too, and people aren't going to respect or appreciate that sort of thing if you just show up and just ignore everybody. So in just about most, if not all cases where something like this occurs, murder, for example, or assault or homicide, this information is willingly shared by the participants. So, and this can be truthfully verified too, in the afterlife once you cross over and go through that process. But so this individual did admit that he was driven by rhetoric and believed that Donald Trump was a bad person and that he was doing a good thing. And, he believed all the talk and rhetoric as far as him being evil or dictator, the wrong person for the job, and expected to die during his attempt, but also understood that if he lived, he'd be in prison for the rest of his life. So at the time he was thinking or believing all this, he thought that he was actually doing the right thing by taking out Trump. And just to let you know, so I'm not excusing that, I'm just explaining the information as it was shared. And so those were the reasons behind it. But he acted with nobody at a local level. He just simply was able to do what he did due to lapses in security. Now, unless that was orchestrated, in another operation, that we don't know yet, and that answer has not been, is not available yet. So now, as far as foreign involvement, so he was actually speaking with someone in another country, and he was aware of that. And I was actually told, so from what I understand, he guessed. So this just wasn't like another loner over there, a couple loners he was talking to. It goes up, there were foreign actors at a level of government that were attempting to influence and help in his assassination attempt, or, hope that he would take it that far. And he figured, I was told that he knew, but it was just a guess, that it was their government agents or people in another government he was working with. So he didn't know. He assumed they were, but that is the truth. So he just happened to be right. Now, I didn't actually stop to ask who or what country or countries were involved. So I'll have to revisit that. So that's interesting. But there was absolutely foreign influence, propaganda, encouragement, and help and he was in direct communication with these people, and he knew it. Now, as far as so this really happened, by the way. This isn't a hoax or wasn't staged or set up. So just to paint that context as well. Now, one question that I asked often is when asking about these situations. By the way, I did not speak to the shooter directly or even ask to. I usually make it very clear, and a lot of times when I'm speaking about cases like this, I don't necessarily speak to the perpetrator and don't really want to. So I'd rather just ask, what I do is ask, is this information made available, or what is made available, and what can you share with me? So that's just a personal choice. I've seen other people on their psychic channels communicate with people like that directly. My choice is just not to. And if the information's there to be shared, I'll ask for that. And if it has to come from rather that person directly, I'd just rather not. So, but one question I do like to ask is, and I found the answer always interesting in many cases, because sometimes it meets my expectations, sometimes it does not. But in this case, I asked the firefighter that was killed there, does he forgive the shooter for what happened? Absolutely not, by the way. So nothing but hatred. He absolutely hates that person for killing him and taking him away from his family. And there is, so there's no forgiveness there whatsoever. And also, he does want his family, and his friends, but his family, to know that he loves them and that he is doing all right. So that's important to share. And so that is the information that I got and that I received about this. So it really is a real situation. Just to kind of summarize, it is what it is from basically all the information we received through the media so far. There's been some speculation, but a lot of unknowns here too. But that's the information as I know it. Now, as far as any foreign involvement, whether that information bubbles up to the top or they share that with us remains to be seen. And what they keep secret, I'm sure, for intel purposes or counterintelligence purposes, they may or may not share with us the whole story. So I'll circle back and see if that information's even known or allowed to be shared. And I think there is even speculation about that in the media that I read about. They haven't connected the two, but I think they connected some sort of, there have been foreign plots against Trump in the past. So I don't know if they connected it directly to this one yet. Anyways, that's the information as I know it, and just wanted to share. So I really appreciate you watching, and again, as always, and if you have any questions or thoughts or anything like that, let me know, or anything else I can ask the answer for. I'd love to do that. But this is what I've gotten so far from this particular issue. So thanks again for watching, and much appreciated, and take care, and we'll see you in the next video. See you later.